All right. Okay, so what is this about? Basically, this is what we call a framework. Like you have um those martial arts show where they have those Chinese they call it 武林秘籍, like all those Chinese martial arts show where they keep those secret stuff in like a tiny little box and they keep it under the floorboard. And then people are like hunting that person for it. Anyway, those were the kind of movies that came out in the 90s or 20s, 2000s. But I digress. Anyway, so this is actually the secret manual to doing well for from Sec 1 all the way to Sec 4, even to JC as well. It's basically a recipe. Just repeat the recipe, you bake the same quality cake, and you will never go wrong. So I came out with this, I put everything together recently and I came out with this idea and I just want to share with you guys about it. Why am I doing this? It's because it's something that you can take note along the way as you study. It doesn't have to work for just science. It could work for other subjects as well. Because what you see here is a very generic form. The success to doing well academically. All right, let's begin. So, how do you do well? How do you achieve success? Um, the step one is something I've been building with you guys for quite a long time, which is like how we go through the notes, how we teach, how we get you to do something like this is what we're doing now, right? Concepts and mind maps, your cheat sheets, and things like that. This is what we're doing today, right? Why are we doing it right now? Because bio tends to be a very difficult topic in the sense that there's a lot of concepts to remember, right? Yes, okay. That's really interesting what you're doing right now. Oh my God. I'm just not gonna look at you, man. Okay. So we are doing the mind maps and everything later. What's the point of this? What's the point of doing mind maps or cheat sheets? Do you remember? Okay. The idea is internalization. If you draw like certain you know how I do my mind maps, right? If you do something like this, you branch out, and then this point branches out to more. These arrows help you to connect the dots so that you can understand things better. So that's your basic to building a strong foundation. Okay. This one is also I talk about. Like example, we went through chemical changes. There were some challenges involved. When you were talking about we're trying to differentiate between combination and decomposition. Do you recall that? And you were like having some issues like trying to remember and things like that. So yeah, to become one big one. It's like Power Rangers combining the Zords to become Megazord. So you talk about that, right? So that is a part of intuitive learning approach where you apply what you have, what you're familiar with, somewhat familiar based on the cartoons you watch, the shows you watch, or the things you observe around you. Apply towards learning something new. So because you know about Power Rangers, roughly, I don't know how much you all watch that, okay, but you know how it works, right? So you know how it works and you use it to remember. The fact that you can tell me right now combination is something at something to become something bigger shows that you remember stuff based on what you talk about. So I think it's a good thing. And we're going to be doing a lot more of this along the way. You can think about it like, are you facing some challenges in other subjects that you find it difficult to remember? Think about how you can apply what you have seen, experienced before in the past, and use it to learn something, use it to remember something, use it to understand something that you're finding it difficult to. What challenge are you facing right now? It doesn't have to be science.
English, Chinese, geography, literature.
Okay, so everything except science. Okay, so think about that. Okay, It can be applied. If you have some issues, you can actually come to me about it. All right. Now, this is specifically related to physics and chemistry. Um, like chemistry are those things like the acid bases, atoms, ions, molecules, those kind of things. That's chemistry. Physics is like electricity, forces, heat transfer. Yeah, those kind of stuff. As you go higher up the level, upper secondary, JC, right, you're gonna be doing a lot of math and graph because of that. So sometimes we need to revisit the essential skill sets that you've learned before to make sure you understand how to apply them to doing certain questions. Okay, so that's a step one. And step one is important because if you don't have a strong foundation in step one, then step two becomes more difficult. What is step two then? It's like, you learn the martial arts, right? Like you keep training in a dummy. Now you get to spar with someone. Sparring session. So step two is about sparring. Um, we have guided practice with basic questions. Sometimes I will give you like 10 questions, testing you on certain things. Remember we did for the chemical change, the word equations, things like that. Yeah. Those are really basic stuff, actually. It was challenging, right?
Slightly at the start.
Yeah. But after a while, you get to do it, you get better at it, you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the stuff to help you improve on your foundation. And you need to do questions so that you can know where you need to apply the knowledge. So that's the important part. Now, when it comes to more difficult stuff, right, we got strategic problem solving, visualize, analyze, and solve. So I call it VAS. So basically, like sometimes a question I'll be asking you, like, what topic is this? What concept is this testing upon? If it's something that you need to draw certain things out, I will ask you as well. Like draw it out first, get a feel of it. So that comes under visualizing and analyzing. You do that first before you solve. Solving it should be the last part. Okay? And then of course this one we have lah. We keep doing questions all the time. We keep doing questions all the time. And it's important to do questions because the more people you spar with, the better you are in martial arts, for example. Okay? And the last part, we have mock tests. Oh, okay. So basically, right, if you spar enough, right, you got some like tournaments, official matches that will come out to really test your power, to really test how good you are as a martial artist. So the last part is about putting your knowledge to the test. So you have mock tests, and after the mock test, I usually ask you like, what do you think you're weaker in? What do you think you're stronger in? So this is also important as well. Stuff we already been doing lah. Um, Fun fact, we're gonna have a mock test soon. Maybe more on what you'll be tested upon because your one is coming first. Yeah. So do prepare for it. Hmm? Hmm. Personalized study plans at this point in time is quite simple for you guys because your content is much smaller. But over time the content becomes bigger and you may need to spend more time addressing certain topics of which you are weaker in. So that's something to also think about, and I will help you to create a study plan for yourself. We can talk about that, right? Because your test is in 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, so we can talk about that actually later on. And lastly, we got test papers adapted from schools. That's quite obvious. What's different from this one? The difference is that these test papers, right, we're going to be doing challenging questions. Like questions that may be longer. You got a few paragraph of words. Then you gotta like go and read through everything. Those kind of stuff. Those are the kind of questions that separates the A's from the B's. If you want to get an A, right, you gotta be able to do these kind of questions. So we also going to be doing that as well. Okay, if you have all of this, then you're on your way to getting that distinction. 75%, did I say 90%? Yeah. If you apply all of this in that framework. All right, the question is how much you're willing to do this. So that's something we'll find out in the next few weeks. Yay. Any questions? Do you feel like it's something that we've been doing?
Yeah.
That's important. Because if you don't feel like I'm not doing it right. Yeah. So basically, this is something we've been doing, and I've put together in this portion. And you will be seeing more of it later on over time. Okay, that's all I have.